Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. Hollywood is going back to work now that the Actors Union has made a tentative agreement with the movie studios. The SAG-AFTRA strike is finally over after 118 days, and the Actors Guild is said to have gotten a good deal with its billion-dollar contract. Now, according to reports, the actors are now going to get a raise in pay. They're also going to get residuals on streaming service content, and they're also going to get regulations as related to their likenesses in artificial intelligence. Now, this deal was one that was hard fought for by the actors who went on strike in conjunction with the Writers Guild of America for the first time ever since, I believe, about 1980. That was the last time both unions went on strike together, and I believe that they had to go on strike this time because the actors and the writers had a lot at stake as related to getting fair compensation. And it looks like they're possibly going to get fair compensation with this 3-year deal, a 3-year deal where they're going to see better compensation than they did under the previous contract. Now, the big winner here is the actors and the writers, and the big loser in this big picture are the studios. Now, the studios basically wanted to go out here and wage a campaign against the actors and the writers to make it look like they were the bad guys and were arrogantly believing they could go out here and wait the writers and the actors out. And they thought that they could go out here and leverage the public against the writers and the actors, and that people were extremely desperate for content. However, most people in America and abroad had become extremely indifferent as related to this strike, and it was that indifference that I believe led to the studios to have to concede their position. Because, like the Major League Baseball strike of 1994, the indifference of the American public was the thing that I believe settled this strike, because most Americans really were not identifying with actors and writers who were millionaires and billionaires arguing over money, the same way Americans were turned completely off when they heard that millionaire baseball players and billionaire owners were fighting over money. This was something the average American could not relate to back then in 1994, as we were coming out of one of the worst recessions in American history, and with the average everyday American struggling with inflation. Most Americans, they were trying to make ends meet as prices continue to rise, so they weren't looking to be sympathetic to most of these actors and writers out here who in some cases make 6 to 7 figures. So most people weren't looking to be sympathetic to these actors and writers, and this is what led to the strike basically falling completely apart in terms of public support. So what happened over the course of the last 6 months is that Hollywood thought that people cared about American entertainment. Unfortunately, they could not see the big picture of American entertainment and how the public had gotten alienated over the last 6 to 7 years of the alleged culture war and what they called SJW entertainment, and they couldn't see how they had alienated the public when many of these celebrities went on social media, going out here speaking and saying things that alienated the public. They couldn't see that they did not have the support for a strike. Moreover, the corporations couldn't see that they didn't have support as related to this strike. So both sides were taking big losses as time was going on, and those losses were the audience walking away and moving on further to the internet. Now, the audience of people out here have been moving to the internet ever since TV went digital in 2009, and this WGA and SAG strike drove even more people from their TV viewing habits over to the internet. And as people were finding their entertainment on platforms like YouTube and finding YouTubers like myself to watch, what they were doing was no longer scheduling their time around watching a TV show at 8 p.m. No, they were spending their time going over to YouTube to watch my channel and the channels of many other people who were out here looking to produce content. And as they were looking to watch that content regularly, TV had lost 50% of its audience. And as the strike was going on, they were about to lose even more market share than they lost back in 2009. And it was that prospect of losing all of that market share, that's the thing that made the actors and the studios scramble back to the negotiation table, because they saw that their audience was completely eroding with each passing day that this strike was going on, and the audience was becoming more and more indifferent. As the audience was becoming more and more indifferent to television and film, what they were doing was moving on to platforms like YouTube and finding their entertainment and information from YouTubers, and they realized that they were about to lose the entire market, which has been eroding for an extended period of time. And that is the main reason why they quickly settled with the writers and got their deal first. And now that they've settled with the actors, which were holding out for a better deal, they have managed to finally make this deal. However, I have to wonder if this deal may possibly be too little too late, because just like they had the Writers Guild strike in 2007, which did devastating damage to Hollywood, because that strike led to the cancellation of multiple shows and led to the audience further starting its migration to the internet, this strike could also do irreparable damage to TV and film, because so much time has passed and a lot of the audience has basically started forming habits as related to internet viewing, that people are now looking for their content from YouTubers, and instead of looking for TV and shows or streaming shows, that this possibly could lead to devastating permanent damage to the entire Hollywood system of going out here and creating content. Because what's happened in the last couple of months, since there have been no new TV shows and a fall season that hasn't started with any new programming, is that the audience is further walking away, and they've already lost 50% of the TV audience, and they may have lost 75 to 80% over the last couple of months. And this could be the thing that does, again, devastating damage as the pattern of migration continues, further exacerbated by this strike. And this is the thing that could lead to Hollywood having to deal with permanent damage to its entire system of entertainment. Because what's happened here is that a lot of time has passed, and when you have all this time pass, the audience again creates a new pattern for its viewing habits, and that pattern of viewing habits could be the thing that ends the dominance of movies and TV and takes content over to the internet. Now, I've heard from some people who said that this strike was basically designed to be some sort of reset for Hollywood for all of the bad projects it greenlit, like many of these Disney Plus shows, and a way to cancel all of those programs. But I don't believe that's part of the thing that's going to help improve anything, because all that money is spent and all that money was lost. And as a project gets greenlit, It doesn't matter whether it gets filmed or not. The money was already allocated for it, and the studios right now are hemorrhaging lots of money due to bad decisions made by executives. And these bad decisions made by these executives are the thing that basically created the elements for this strike, because they were greenlighting a lot of projects like what Kevin Feige was doing over at Marvel Studios without any sort of serious plan. He didn't have a plan for a series Bible. He didn't hire qualified writers. And you have a lot of people who will sit there and say this was a way to fire all the so-called woke writers. Well, the problem is that you still have the same executives in place. And it was those executives who created this whole situation that led to this strike. It was these executives who greenlit a lot of these bad projects. And it's these executives and their tunnel vision and their mindset being stuck in the 80s that has them not looking to shift gears. So we have a problem even with the strike being over. And the problems over at these studios is you had a lot of arrogant executives who are the problem. They were the ones who thought they could wait the writers and the actors out. They thought that people would be groveling to come back to them. Unfortunately, as they saw the audience walking away, they had to scramble to make a deal, because they were the ones who were losing billions of dollars because the audience was walking away. And they were losing the billions of dollars because they failed to understand that a studio, when it creates projects, has to answer a critical question. And that critical question is, why should we care? And the problem is that the audience stopped caring about TV. The audience stopped caring about movies because they were turned off by the arrogance of these executives. They were turned off by the arrogance of these actors and their behavior on social media, and they were also turned off by the arrogance of these writers who are writing about things they don't know about and looking to push politics instead of entertaining the audience. And that's what led to the audience becoming indifferent to the point where they didn't take a side on this strike. And that's what led to these studios being the big losers, because they had to go out here and lose all this money, and now they've got to spend even more money and hope, wish, and pray that the audience comes back the same way Major League Baseball owners did back in 1994. That's 95 after that strike, and that's what they had to do, was try to regain the trust of the audience. And sadly, I don't see where anybody's showing any sort of humility as related to this strike ending. I don't see any sort of change of behavior, and that's the sad part about this whole situation, because nothing has really changed, and nothing has really changed because what's really led to Hollywood being this mess is that Telecom Act of 1996, which destroyed competition, because as these corporations began buying up these movie studios, TV shows, newspapers, and publishing companies, what this has done is consolidated media. And as media has become consolidated, we haven't got the competition we need. And because we don't have competition, this is why entertainment is in a sad state of affairs. It's in a sad state of affairs because we have a lot of these executives who are living in their own world, living to push their kind of entertainment, but the audience wants something different, and they want things to change. But sadly, we don't have a foundation for change, even though the strike is over. Yes, people will be getting paid more, but they will be making less projects because the studios are still running scared. And instead of them looking to take the risks that helped Hollywood grow, what we are going to do is see people get paid for making more remakes and revamps instead of making fresh, new concepts. This is what's killing Hollywood, and Hollywood is an industry that basically is on its last legs, as I see it, because they've already conceded a lot of ground to YouTubers with this strike. And even though this strike is over, the whole approach to entertainment still hasn't changed, and it hasn't changed because we have this deregulation, which has created this consolidated media with the Telecom Act of 1996, And that's what's led to all of this lack of competition, something Hollywood desperately needs, because in order to get great entertainment, we need more competition. And that's what the strike is not really is showing us. We need more competition, because what's happening is Americans have become indifferent to entertainment, and as they've become indifferent to entertainment, they became indifferent to the strike, which is finally over. And even though it's over, nothing has really changed, and nothing, I possibly believe, will change until one or two of these studios goes bankrupt and the entire platform just completely collapses. Now, if you want to pick up my first screenplay book, All About Marilyn, you can find that screenplay book on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to check out the first season of All About Nikki, you can check out that season on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. Both of these screenplay books show my approach to writing screenplays and show how I would write a movie or a TV show. And if you want to see me make more videos about the entertainment industry, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, a fabulous first season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, the fabulous first season, in paperback and e-readers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.